Figures reported in The Times this morning reveal that the cost of supporting asylum seekers has doubled in the last 3 years. It now costs £430 million a year to provide housing and cash payments to individuals waiting for their asylum applications to be processed. To be fair, in context, that isn't a huge figure relative to other things the government splashes out on. In fact, it's about £10 a year for every person of working age in the country. But the asylum figures are very concerning on many fronts, and here are just a few statistics. As of June this year, the total number of asylum claims that were classed as a work in progress was 125,000, according to the latest Home Office figures. The caseload of asylum claims being handled at the moment by the Home Office has doubled in size since 2014, and this is partly driven by the fact applicants are waiting longer for outcomes and the fact the number of people subject to removal is growing fast. Having said that, the number of annual asylum applications has actually been considerably lower in this decade than previously. Applications peaked at over 84,000 in 2002, and this is compared to around 35,000 in 2019 and just under 30,000 last year. It's also worth noting that the proportion of asylum claims which are refused has been shrinking over time, meaning a growing percentage of claims are accepted. For example, in 2004, only 15% of asylum applications were successful. In 2019, 48% of applicants were granted asylum. 48%. Those are the top line figures on the state of asylum claims in the country. And these are figures that are only set to rise. The National Audit Office estimates that given current estimates for next year, the cost of housing and giving cash payments to asylum seekers could rise to over £500 million. And that's excluding the extra cost of keeping people in temporary hotels, a very expensive thing indeed. What an absolute mess this whole situation is. I think there are many people who'll be waking up this morning looking at these figures and it's just not sitting right with them, and many others who will be livid. Of course, there are also some people who want us to shut our doors completely to asylum seekers, and I don't hold that view. I don't think that's the British way. We've never been the kind of nation that just shuts our doors when people need help, and I feel that we should continue being a place of refuge for those that genuinely need it. But I also feel that unless the government are seen to be keeping these figures under control, the impact this will have will be incredibly damaging to society and for public opinion. They can't seem to keep levels of dangerous illegal crossings under control. They can't seem to actually remove those who are denied asylum and have no right to be here. Asylum processing times are taking longer than ever. There have been a catalogue of failings and embarrassments when it comes to housing conditions for asylum seekers. And the rapid rise in spending on asylum support over the last few years is just really not a good look, to put it mildly. I'm not actually sure what the government has got right on this issue. The charity of the British people will start wearing thin very soon, and the government need to get a grip, and fast.